He says, moreover, I will put a new heart and I will put a new spirit within you, and I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. What does that mean? Imagine that I had a statue here of a man made out of solid stone. I could pinch it, punch it, kick it, slap it, and what's going to happen? I could speak to it kindly. I could read poetry. And what's it going to do? Absolutely nothing. It will be totally unresponsive to whatever stimulus I use. Do you see that? Why? Because it's stone. It's stone. But if I could snap my fingers and turn that man of stone into a man of flesh, what happens? He can now respond to stimuli. And that's what God has done to you. Now let me put it in another illustration. So let's say that I had 2 hogs back there in the back door. 400-pounders. Big pigs. And I had a plate of the finest food in all of Fort Myers here. And I had a bucket of slop here. And I looked up and I said, loose him and let him go. And one of those pigs ran down the aisle. Where do you think the pig's going to go? He's going to go to the bucket of slop. Why is he going to go to the bucket of slop? Because he's a pig. That's what pigs do. They eat slop. Not only is he going to eat slop, he's going to delight in the slop. Not only that, he's not going to be ashamed that any of you are watching him eat slop. But if I had the power to change that nature of that pig into the nature of a man, because there are some things pigs can eat that men simply cannot eat by nature, then what would happen? That man would throw his head out of that bucket and vomit up everything he was eating down with delight. That man would turn around and see you and be ashamed. I just described your conversion. I just described your conversion. Oh, and every once in a while that man, he can get stupid. He can walk by that slop, and the smell is familiar, but as he's going to it, he knows he's wrong. He sticks his head in it. He knows he's going to be sick, and in fact, he becomes sick. And eventually he throws it out again, vomits it up again, and then shame starts all over again in the way of a man. Let me give you a domestic illustration. So, there's this man, he's unconverted. He's late for work. He's got a big meeting. It's snowing outside. He runs down the steps. He's dropping papers out of his attaché case. He's miserable. He's angry. He's impatient. He reaches for the door handle, and his wife comes down the stairs and screams out in that voice that they have at that time of the morning. Says, "Take out the trash." And he turns around without thinking. He turns around and he says, "What do you mean, take out the trash? You take out the trash. I've got work to do. What's wrong with you? You're lazy. You never get up out of bed." He storms out. And you know what? He storms out feeling completely justified. Perfectly justified. Gets in the car, turns on the car, gets to the meeting, has the meeting, perfectly justified. 6 months go by and the man is converted. 6 more months go by and what happens? He's late for work. He's running down the steps. His briefs are coming out of his attaché case, all his papers. He reaches for the door handle. He knows he's going to be late. He knows he's in trouble. And his wife goes, "Take out the trash." And he turns around and he goes, "You take out the trash. What's wrong with you? Can't you see I'm late? You're so lazy." You say, what's the difference? The moment he does it, it's like a knife goes through his heart. He knows he's wrong. He knows it. But let's say he bucks up, storms out of the house, gets in his car. He knows he's wrong. He knows it. He forces his way through. He goes into the meeting. He gets 10 minutes into that meeting and he says, "Men, I need to go out for a moment and make a phone call." He goes out and he goes, "Honey, I am so sorry. Please forgive me. I'm wrong. I'm so sorry. I sinned against God and I sinned against you." Why does he do that? A new nature. A new nature.